Let's do this. I don't know why I press play and like I'm not ready, because I'm not. Hi everybody, welcome back to While You Wait, the YouTube show where I give suggestions for items that you might want to check out as you wait, while you wait for items that have a whole bunch of requests on them. I had said in a previous video that this video was going to be about Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. Now that's just not how the cookie crumbled for Jacob. So instead, I am going to give you some suggestions of things to check out while you wait for the film Tenet. Now, there's over 300 requests, whether it's DVD, Blu-ray, on this movie, so I wanted to get these suggestions out to you as soon as I could. I know that these videos are not meant to be a review, right? I cannot make this video without telling you that did I enjoy this film, Tenet, by Christopher Nolan? I did not. It's an action thriller that doesn't make sense, and it stars John David Washington, who is the son of Denzel Washington. I had no idea. And he's like a secret agent of some sort, I think. And he basically finds out that there is a organization that has discovered that items or objects, people, things can be inverted. So like, I drop this key, right? If I have this special power, I don't know how people have this power, but I can then hold my hand over here and the key goes up. So like the action and its reverse. I don't know. I don't know what this movie was about, man. It was 2.5 hours. It was very loud film, very flashy, very cool looking, action scenes. And then I read like 14 articles afterwards, because I was like, I need to know enough about this movie to make this video. I just don't know enough. And I want to. It's not because I didn't try. I was reading the Wikipedia. What's it called? Summary. As I watched the movie, and it still made no sense to me. So, with that being said, let's give you some suggestions of items that you might like to check out while you wait, or rather instead of Tenet. The first movie I want to suggest to you is called Memento. This is another film by Christopher Nolan. And just like Tenet, this movie is an action thriller with a mystery thrown in. So this dude is trying to figure out who killed his wife, but he has short-term memory loss. So like every 30 minutes or so, he's like, oh, what just happened? He loses his memory and has to start from scratch again. So how he kind of manages that is he has Polaroids that he carries around. So it's like a Polaroid of his motel room, and it says, this is where you live. It's a Polaroid of a person, and it says, this is Teddy. Don't trust Teddy. So that's how he's trying to build his investigation, right? He takes notes. He also tattoos things all over his body. Like fact number 1, the person who killed your wife has this license plate number. So that's what the movie's about. But what makes the movie so special is that it's not told chronologically. And so how do I put this? There's like a black and white narrative, and there's a color narrative. The black and white narrative starts at the very beginning of the story. The color narrative starts at the very end of the story. And the black and white and color scenes are interspersed. So the black and white scene moves a little bit this way, and then you go to a color scene, which the color scenes are told backwards. So then your first scene is the very end, and then the next color scene is closer to the middle. So the climax of the film meets in the middle of the chronology. If that didn't make sense, comment below. But what I appreciated about this movie is that it plays with themes that Christopher Nolan plays with in Tenet, but does it in a way where the viewer can understand what's happening. Groundbreaking. So although I was definitely challenged, and it took me a second to figure out, there was something rewarding about being able to figure out what the hell's going on in this movie. So, check out Memento. It really is a classic. It's an aesthetic classic. It's like a 1940s noir film, but it's like early 2000s, so it's like big cell phones and cigarettes, shot like a 40s noir movie. It's cool. Another movie that I would suggest that you check out, this movie is called The Game, directed by David Fincher. So David Fincher gave us like 7, The Netflix show Mindhunter, Panic Room, whole bunch of movies that are kind of like thrillery, actiony, uses the like toolbox of filmmaking to create interesting narrative structures. So this movie is about rich old Michael Douglas, who he's always a rich old man in every movie in his life. This rich old man, his brother, who's played by Sean Penn, who I find to be detestable. Sean Penn is like, hey, I got you a birthday present. You get to go to this company. This company is going to fix your life. So Michael Douglas is like, what are you talking about? Ends up going, and they're doing all these weird psychological tests to him. And he's like, okay, I'd like to go now. So then he goes, and when he gets home, there's like a human-sized clown doll on his front porch. He walks in, and all the lights are on, and he turns the lights off, and smeared across the wall are these messages in glow-in-the-dark paint. He's like, okay, whatever this company is, whatever this gift is, I'm not feeling it. But the way it's set up is he determines that this is some sort of game. But then, halfway through the movie, it's not a game anymore, girl. There's like, people are getting like killed. People are like getting like in fights and stuff. Like he's like shooting guns. So what is the game? What is not the game? What is reality? What is not reality? This film, much like Tenet and Memento, makes you question what is going on and what is real and what is fake. And it's with it, that's inherently rewarding. And at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, big twist, yeah! This movie, just like Memento, looks super cool. Like rich, dark colors. Yeah, it just looks cool. So check out The Game. Now, a book suggestion I have for you. This is called We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler. This book, you think you're reading one book. 90 pages in, you're reading a different book. There's a twist. What I like about this book is that it's not a twist like the twists I've been discussing, right? Or it doesn't have a gimmick like Tenet does with the inverted or inverted. This twist is an emotional twist. And that's something I really appreciate. It still pulled the rug out from under me, just as much as an M. Night Shyamalan I See Dead People twist. But rather than, it's not an intellectual twist, it's an emotional twist. It's a book about siblings. It's a book about science. It's a book about parenting. It's a book about human nature. And I'm not going to tell you a single thing more, because the less you know about this book, the more rewarding the reading experience will be for you. This is also the perfect book if you're looking for something for your virtual book club. Read this book, because it's either going to make people happy, cry, or it's going to make them mad. And that's the perfect book for a book club, right? Something to discuss. So check out We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler. It's an amazing title. We are all completely beside ourselves, aren't we, girl? We sure are. Now, another book that I think you would like to check out is called Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell. This is a mind-bending book. It's 6 separate narratives, and as you're reading the book, you're trying to figure out what the heck do these narratives have to do with each other? And these narratives span all of time and space and all of that business. Like, one of them is like, I'm on a pirate ship back in the day. And then another one is like, I'm in the future in South Korea and they're harvesting human bodies. And then another one's like, oh, I'm in the Baroque period and I'm learning how to play piano. Those really bad descriptions of what's going on in this book. I just say that to show you how ambitious and expansive this book is. Why I'm suggesting this book to you is because it also plays with chronology. It switches the order up of the narrative, which leads you to different conclusions than I think you would if it was told chronologically. So these 6 narratives, right? I gotta pull out the hands again. So you got your 6 narratives, right? The first chapter is the first half of narrative 1. The next chapter is the first half of narrative 2. The next chapter is the first half of narrative 3, so on and so forth, until you get to the first part of narrative 6. Then the chapter that comes after that is the second half of narrative 6. And the chapter that comes after that is the second half of narrative 5. And the chapter that comes after that is the second half of narrative 4, so on and so forth. So it's like a nesting doll, right? Boop, boop. See what I'm trying to say? And that makes a really interesting reading experience. And the whole time you're reading this, you're like, what do these stories have to do with each other? What do they have to do with each other? It turns the reader into an investigator, um, which I really enjoyed when I was reading this book. Um, what else can I tell you about it? They made it into a movie. The Wachowskis, who gave us The Matrix and Jupiter Ascending, I did not like the movie version of Cloud Atlas, but I love the Wachowskis. Okay, that brings us to our last suggestion. I'd like to tell you guys what movies the director or author of the movie we're talking about suggests to you. So the internet is covered in Christopher Nolan's top 30 films from cinema. And there's only one movie I can really suggest to you from that list, because all the movies were like cinema with a capital C. Film. Which, I love cinema with a capital C. It just can be tiring. And I think if you're going to watch Tenet, that's all the effort you need to put into a film watching experience. So, this is the one film from that list that I can suggest to you. And it's none other than the classic early 90s thriller Speed. This is one of Christopher Nolan's favorite movies. And it truly, when people say edge of your seat, this is the actual edge of your seat they're talking about. Give you a little bit of a synopsis. So there's like an evil dude. I think it's John Malkovich, or was it Kiefer Sutherland? I'm not going to look it up. I should. I'm not going to. There's an evil dude, and he's like holding these people for ransom. And how he does that is he hooks up a little machine to a public bus. And if that public bus goes under 55 miles per hour, the bus explodes. So Sandra Bullock is driving this bus, and she's doing like the best Sandra Bullock like comedy. Like, what am I doing? Very funny, very charming. Keanu Reeves, who's giving you vintage Keanu Reeves, hops up on the bus and is trying to, solve the situation. And that's the premise of the movie. So it's fast-paced and it's entertaining. And it's like you're on the edge of your seat. What I like about it is it's a movie with a gimmick. And other movies we've discussed also have gimmicks. Like the order in which the movie is told. Or, everything is inverted. Tenet. It's inverted. This movie also has a gimmick, but it's a gimmick that's easy to understand, and sometimes you just want to be entertained. Speed is the movie. So check that out while you wait to receive your copy of Tenet. So I hope, I don't need to rain on anybody's parade. If you're very excited to watch Tenet, then be excited and watch Tenet. There's just different things that are not my cup of tea. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy those items. I hope they pique your interest, and I hope that they enrich your viewing experience of Tenet when you finally get your mitts on a copy. Please smash the like this video, subscribe to AADL TV to see all the wonderful things that our content creators are making: crafts, food, Black Lives Matter discussions, community events. Check out our channel and like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'm not exactly sure what our next video will be about. I'd love to give you guys a little preview as to what the next one will be, but I don't know. I gotta watch the numbers to see which items, which films and movies have very, very long wait lists on them. So yes, thank you again for watching. I love making these videos, and it makes me feel like I'm talking to people, which I miss, if you haven't noticed. So thank you again, and yeah, thank you. Bye.